So hello guys, welcome back again to this wonderful space. And today we are going to explain as to why dialogue is not an option to the current issues or the revolution that has come. Why are they not accepting dialogue? Why are they pushing hard? And I'm going to give you some reasons according to how I understand where dialogue cannot be a solution to this particular situation we have in our country. Uh, from what I know is that this government has been run by the same people with only new faces and different people for the past few years, but we still have the main faces that we have had since the introduction of multipartism. Because with the introduction of multipartism, now that is when the opposition was effective and radiant. But with this opposition, we have had these people who are very influential, or who we can say they are the opinion, or they were opinion holders or the opinion leaders, that whatever they say people are likely to take. And for this particular thing, we are going to look at these people, and they were involved, or in one or the other they formed the various uh, dialogues, various commissions. They were in charge, or they resulted to some of these things being formed. And we are used to these same faces. We are used to these same faces that we believe in these leaders. And these leaders, in one way or the other, have affected how our governance has been going on. The system that is in Kenya, that people, the political system, or how things are working, is it's predominantly because of some few people, some few individual who are very influential. I remember during this whole period, the ones who are in charge, or the ones uh, who are running the government, were the generation X, the baby boomers. And for that time, you remember these people are people with the colonial mindset, and the leadership that they believe in is a leadership that is particularly very uh, maybe it has a lot of colonialism nature in it. So the Gen Zs, the new era, the new brand, the new gene of this political revolution, the word change. There's no time. I think there's a time we used to tell people that one day Kenya are going to change, and it's going to change for better. That things are going to be better, but for us to be here is because of a failed system, a system that failed to secure the government, or corrupted how the government should be done. And for me, the current leaders that we have today are not the one. I cannot judge them because I believe they went into leadership believing that this is how leadership works, but they never expected any change. The Gen Zs are not at peace with the dialogue, because why? We have had many reports, many dialogues that have been brought, even some leaders suggesting that it's better a country to be in a feast rather than in war. It's better to have, with particular Francis Atwoli saying that what the government needs is we better have a bad country rather than not having it at all. But for us, I believe they are trying to sue us into, or they're taking us into a trap so that the Gen Zs can forget what they want, correcting the system. And I'm going to give you why dialogue is not an option. I give an examples of previous dialogues that were used in order to reconcile, or to bring different ideologies, or different um, to just quell the conflict, or to reduce the conflict. Yes, and some of these I'm likely to give an account. Some of these that these reports that came as a result of a political instability or political conflict, or the opposition being, or people fighting for their rights, were various reports, as I'm going to give. From back to 2003, we had the Ndungu report, and the Ndungu report was to address, maybe it was formed with the purposes of ensuring that they reduced what we call land grabbing. You know, when public land is taken by individuals, now the public gets angry because the land is land that is given by the people for the benefit of all people. But when people take advantage and the individuals that gave the land see this injustice, they become very much bitter. So we had this particular guy who led the commission and they formed the Ndungu report. But the Ndungu report never worked, because we still see with the current president being accused of land grabbing, and other leaders who have been associated with land grabbing. This is almost 20 years, but the Ndungu report has not been effective, or we are not seeing what it was supposed to achieve. Now, back in 2008, 2008 and 7, after the election violence, we had a lot of human injustices, and this because some of those observers say that the election was not fair, and this led to a very bad election violence, which led to human injustices. So for them to solve this, we had someone sent from the United Nations, that was Kofi Annan, and he came with an aim of ensuring that we were going to ensure that people are going to get justice, and that the country is going to be in a better position. So this led to formation of a government known as Nusum Kate. And here we had something called the TJRS report. Now, this was marked. This was resulted as a result of or marked by liberal struggles, ethnic conflicts, semi-despotic regimes. We had marginalization, political violence, and the aim was to stop violence and restore fundamental rights, overcome political crisis, and address humanitarian crisis and prolonged this. Now, this led to the National Accord, which was formed by the then who was the mediator, or someone who was trying to bring the two heads into peace, Kofi Annan. Uh, Here he was to ensure that we restored the national unity, that they realized that what resulted to political instability, or political war, or this tribal conflict, was fueled by politics. Now, the aim was to ensure that this political based on ethnic was going to be removed. But this equally failed. Why? The then was a member, Betty Murungu, resigned, saying that he was unable to perform his duty. Now, the one of those who are head of someone, I don't know, Kiplagat, uh, was seen as the commission was unable to meet its objective, and the truth justice reconciliation this truth justice reconciliation council, that is the TJRC report, did not achieve its objective. And one of its objective was to stop abduction, detention, disappearances, and also eliminate the return of extrajudicial killing. With the current protest, this is what we have witnessed. So this is the second reason why dialogue cannot work with the youths, because it has failed. That all those reports, these I believe these reports or these dialogues, they are just used as a weapon to divert the attention of what people need to, or even to buy more time to remove that anger. Because you know, people when they revolt because they are pushed by a specific thing. So once you kill that, or you remove the motivation, maybe by taking them that agitation law, they it's hard for them to come back again to fight for the same rights. So it failed because we still see the detention, we see extrajudicial killing by the police officers, we still see political injustices, we still see a lot of things that we see that maybe may place us back to where we were. Um, the third was the Waki Commission, and the Waki Commission was a commission of inquiry of post-election violence. And the Waki Commission brought this report, and instead of giving the perpetrators of political election post-election violence, what they did not disclose the name to the public, but they gave the name to this particular person known as Kofi Annan, who took those names to the Ocampo, and they were taken to the International Court of Justice. But equally, the perpetrators, or the offenders, or the those who are incited the killing of the more than 1,000 Kenyans during the post-election violence. Of course, we saw those faces brought to justice, but at the same time, these people got a chance even to be our leaders. And with that, still, even if those names were submitted and these particular people given, it is very funny because these particular people uh, won the cases against the International Court of Justice due to lack of evidences. We seeing most of the witnesses killed, and among others, where it was very sad for us to witness. So far, no one has been brought to justice due to the post-election violence. So this is another reason why dialogue is not a solution, because we accept to go to dialogue, we cool down, people business continues as normal, people do not go on to fight for their rights, and what happens? Nothing goes on. So the Waki Commission, though it brought the perpetrators, no one has been no one has paid for the damages that was done by these people. um the third reason, or the fourth reason why the the dialogue is not an option, after the 2017, after those demonstrations that these were not done right, we had the then Chief Justice, who among the few in the world actually is the second to nullify an election after it was marked with a lot of irregularities, a lot of rigging, according to the report that he gave. So this resulted to a war, and Raila decided not to go. So President Uhuru Kenyatta went on and won. And for him to quench his anger, they decided to form the Breeding Building Bridges Initiative, the BBI. And the BBI had 9 things that it had to solve. Number one being corruption, number three being devolution, that is uniting the county governments and making them accountable. They had to diversify election to let it not be based on ethical grounds. Now they resolve the ethical animosity, ensure that there is national ethos, and ensure that there is safety and security, that there was a responsibility and rights was taken, there was inclusivity, was shared prospects and responsible and rights. But with this building bridges initiative, with this report, um, some of them say that it was not an option. So we had the handshake, and from that handshake, now we lost our opposition. Losing our position, now we had no one to keep the government in check. So us not having someone to keep government in check, so the government, we found ourselves in a deep state, because things could rise, success could rise, no one could question them because the opposition was in bed with the government. So this is the fourth reason why the the dialogue cannot work, because dialogue is taken, people are taken. Those few leaders that we believe are going to present our needs, they are bribed and they're given money, or because these people have other interests which are superior than the interests of the country, They go away because we had the BBI. We had like from the Kofi Annan or the National Accord, where the power sharing strategy. Did the people get what they wanted? Did people get justice? No. We had the working report. Did we prosecute those who were in charge or the offenders of the post-election violence? No. The land grabbing or the Ndungu report, has it been implemented? No. The Waki, we are speaking about the TJRS report. Nothing. Ndungu, nothing. BBI, nothing. And we have the NADCO report, where some of the leaders, because Raila is the influencer, so some of them, I'll put the link down there so that you can go and see what I said about the NADCO report. Some of the things that were addressed during the NADCO report, some of them were not addressed, like the cost of living, not addressed, and other issues which were not seen. So this is, this is another reason, or the fifth reason, why dialogue is not an option. Why the Gen Zs do not want a leader is because they know that the government has mastered the art of bringing those who are in charge of the opposition and bribing them or satisfying their interests. Like now we had the Raila, because he's being supported for the youth chairmanship. We saw him together with the president saying that now they have said dialogue is an option. So you think that these people are foolish. For 20 years, those reports have not been implemented. They have no impact on the lives of the Kenyans. Thirdly, lastly, or something I'm going to say lastly, is because uh, the, the Gen Zs do not want leaders, because we know you make them useless, you make them not to attain what we want. So that's why the Gen Zs want action rather than dialogue, because we expected that the dialogue would result to action, but the dialogue was used to divert the interest of the leaders. That's why the Gen Zs do not want a leader, because they have lost confidence in leadership and they don't want anything to do with leadership. So thank you. Let's meet next time.